Hi everybody and welcome to Push Your Luck Podcast, video review number 5. Now in this episode we'll be looking at one of the Essen 2013 hot games, Russian Railroads. Now looking at the box, I see the big red train on the box. What do you think the game is about? It's about laying tracks, delivering goods, or buying stocks. Well, if you think of any of those, then you're absolutely wrong. This has nothing to do with any of those. Russian Railroads is actually a worker placement game based on a team of trains, the Russian railroad team. So this game is designed by Helmut Oehler and Leonard Ogler, who also did some games together, but mostly the train style type of games. They also did Poseidon. I think I played it before. Can't really remember much about it now. But this is a game I'll definitely remember. This is a game that most of us, most of my friends who went to Essen gave it a miss because they thought it was one of those typical train games with stocks and stuff like that. But they were pleasantly surprised when they actually played it. It is actually a worker placement game and it's a lot of fun. This is a potential contender of Game of the Year for 2013 for me. So let's take a look at what is inside the game components, how it plays, and I'll tell you my thoughts. Okay, so right now you see the various components available for Russian Railroads. This is the main game board where people will be placing their workers on. This is also the main board where there will be a lot of interactions between players. Each player will also receive a player board where they will be managing their own own resources as well as advancements on the 3 different tracks and also the factory area here. Okay, so the game components, you see that they are very good quality. You receive a lot of these rails. The meeples are nice, all wooden components. There are also a number of cards, but these are only for endgame scoring cards as well as turn order cards, and also special bonus cards that you have here. Okay, there are also tiles like this which represent the trains. Alright, there will be a few of them available on the market that you can purchase. There's also these are also the engineered tiles, nice wooden tiles, which will give you additional actions. Okay, so let's explain the different components in detail and how to play the game. Now, in essence, let's focus on the player board first because that's where most of the action will happen. Most of your own management will happen. Okay, your player board will have 3 different tracks. This is the top one is the longest track, which will essentially you are managing how far these rail pieces are on each of the tracks to give you bonuses, give you benefits, and also give you points per round. At the end of the game, at the end of 7 rounds, whoever has the most points, including endgame scoring, will win the game. So these are the different. Each of the players will start with 3 of these black rail tokens on each of these 3 tiles, and they will also receive 1 purple hexagonal piece which represents the factory. So there will be factories later on which workers can build at the bottom here. Alright, and they will move this purple piece along the way to activate these factories and also score points. Everything that you see there's a star on the board, okay, all these stars will represent points. These will represent points only if you can meet this condition. So let's take a closer look at the player board. So each player will start off with one train. So this means that 1 train, that means you can only score points for up to 1 track here. Right? These numbers represent the number of tracks so that players can easily see how many trains are needed to reach this particular area. For example, you need a 4 train to reach here to activate this particular portion. So the first track is up to 15, second track is up to 9, third track is also up to 9. Each of the tracks, when you reach the end, will also give you 10 points. So any star that's inside the tracks here will give you a 1-time scoring. Any star that's outside here, alright, including this one, will give you every round scoring. So that's quite important to take note on how you want to play the game. So when we are, if you're moving along, when you're moving the black color rail pieces along the way, when you're moving them along the way, whenever they enter a place with all these icons, you can see whether they activate or not. So for pieces where there is no train icon, like this one, there's no train icon, when this particular black piece reaches here, you get this benefit. This will give you 3 rail icons. Right? This one will mean that you need a brown plus a train that can reach here. That means you need a level 3 train. So this level 1 train will not be able to activate this. So you need a brown rail piece, right, plus a train with a level 3 to get this benefit, which is gives you extra worker. This one gives you three brown rail tokens. So you will need to see how this black one will need to reach here first before you can get a 3 brown one, and then you need to push the brown one up along the track. So there are different benefits. This one will these circles on the board will give you benefits, special benefits which each player will have right at the beginning. Alright, these benefits range from being able to push your factory piece up a certain amount of spaces, or give you other benefits as well. The bottom one here is the factory. So whenever the factory token rests, you get this number of points per round. There will be factories later on in the game where you can add on to the bottom, like so. Alright, so when the purple token reaches that particular place, you will activate this particular power. Right, and each factory can only be activated once when the purple piece goes there. Okay, so this is the player track. It can be quite busy, quite daunting at first, but not to worry. Later on, when you play the game, it should be quite straightforward and quite intuitive. Now let's take a look at the main board itself, where all the action will happen. So the main board is separated into different sections. All right, and each of the actions there will show you how many workers you need to place here to be able to get this particular action, to activate this action. This section is all about rail pushing. So whenever you put a worker here, you get to push your rail tokens depending on the color indicated here. So the top two are for the black rail tokens. This is for the gray one, for the brown, and the cream color, and the white. This is while you can choose any one you want. This one is only a black or white. When you push a rail, you can push any number of black rails, that number of spaces. So for example, this one means the first one you can push one black rail, 2 spaces, or 2 black rail, 1 space each. When you push rail, one thing to take note of is that you need to follow in this sequence. That means the gray can never go past the black, the brown can never go past the gray or the black, and the cream cannot go past any of that, and so on and so forth. So you need to push all of them gradually forward so that they can get ahead. Okay, so the brown pieces can get ahead and so forth. Because every round you will score points where all these are. So the further they are ahead, each of the space they are at and behind will get points. So for example, if I had a brown piece here, right, brown piece is 2 points here now. Right, so for here, for space 3 and all the way behind, I'll be scoring 2 points each. So it is 2, 4, 6. So if it's here, I'll score 2, 4, 6 points each. So if you have the white color piece, for example, if you can push it forward more, you'll be scoring 6 points each slot it is at. So that's the purpose of pushing all these slots. In addition, you'll be getting all these other benefits as well when you push them forward. So that is the first area here. This is the player order. The interesting part is it depends on which player order you are. When you pass, you also get a certain amount of points. So if you are second player, when you pass, you get 2 points. When you're third player, you pass, you get 3 points, and so on and so forth. The interesting thing is that there are 2 different slots here. So when someone plays here, later on when everyone has passed, whoever is in the second slot, whoever is number 2 here will get to take up this worker from here and get to put on an empty slot. Then whoever is number 1 will take up this worker and put on an empty slot. So in a way, you will change the player order, as well as you will get to take out this worker and get to put somewhere else. Take note, in the last round, this will be flipped over and you will be placed here. There will be no more of this because there's no point in getting first anyway in the last round. But now you have a slot where you can put 2 workers and you can move 3 of your factory space, one of your factory tokens, 3 space. This is the engineer track. So this will allow you to purchase engineers, which will essentially give you an extra slot that only you can use it. Okay. In addition, they also give you endgame scoring. So how do you come here? You just need to pay 1 coin. Coin in the game, each of the players will start with 1 coin at the start of the game. Coins are also considered wild workers. Wild means that you can put them by themselves to activate 1 spot, or you can put together with a worker and put them somewhere else. Coins are also used to buy engineers. So you just need to put one coin here and you get this engineer. So this engineer is for sale. These two engineers are open slots where you can place workers at. These are the rest of the engineers available. The very clever thing on the board is that as every round, someone will definitely buy engineer. After every round, when someone has bought engineer, this will be pushed down, right? Push down here. This will be open. So there's a new action spot you can place your workers at. This will be pushed down, and you can see there's 6 rounds left. So it's quite a smart way of graphic design on the board. These 3 slots allow you to buy a factory or a train. Now there will be markets like this where you can buy new trains. Okay, if you want to buy a factory, you just take the lowest train or factory available and flip it over, and then you can place it in your board, alright, to get the factory power. So each train has a number which tells you how many spaces they can reach on your player board, as well as the factory power if you happen to flip it behind and use the factory power. There's altogether 9 trains in the game, and each of the train will have a different factory power, even including your number 1 train, which has a factory power behind. This slot here, these 3 slots here allow you to move your factory tokens, the purple factory marker, along the board, and the last one even allow you to move one black rail marker 1 space. Now this one, this slot allows you to get two blue workers, which are the spare workers. This one allows you to get 2 coins. This one allows you to get a multiplier. So what does a multiplier do? Multipliers only exist on the board here. They will allow you to score for every rail marker that is on the top track with the multiplier. It will allow you to score times 2 the points per round. Right, so which is quite a lot. If you can beef up the area here, you can get quite a lot of points. Okay, and that is the gist of the game. Every round, people will be placing workers on the board, getting in resources, advancing their tracks, and when the game ends, you count final scoring, and whoever has the most points will win the game. Now, what are some of the things that I've noticed in the game? It is a fun game, that's for sure. It's a worker placement. It may seem as if there's a lot of things to take note of, but it is manageable. It's not difficult to teach. It's not difficult to learn as well. Some of the things to take note is that every round you'll be scoring quite a lot of points. Indeed, a typical game usually has about 300 to 400 points. We just played a game last night where the winner has about 400 points, and I had only about 300 points. So the margin could swing quite widely. There's a problem with catch up. There doesn't seem to be a way where you can catch up to a leader if it's very obvious that the player is leading. You need to take note that these 3 slots, the engineer, the 2 workers, and these 2 coins are hotly contested. Because why? You get engineer, not only will you be able to have your own private slot where no one can come to, you will also, if you have the most engineer at the end of the game, you also get 40 points, which is a lot. In addition, if you happen to have the train, number 1 train as a factory, this will score you points for each engine, the sum total of engineers based on this number here. So that could potentially give you a lot of points. So this is a hotly contested space. This one give you 2 coins. Coins are wild. So it's always good to have wild tokens. They can also be used to purchase engineers. This is extra worker, so you get 1 extra worker which is also good because this is a worker placement game. There's no penalties for having more workers. Indeed, even also one of the end game scoring gives you a number of points based on the extra workers that you have. Okay, there are also end game scoring cards that you can get. So one of the round the special tokens that you get when you reach certain spots on the board, when you reach the circles on the board, is to allow you to get one of the special cards as well as to get the end game card, which will give you more points. What else? There seems to be there seems to be 3 main ways of scoring right now. The first way is the very first track, the Trans-Siberian, the Moscow and I'm not going to try to pronounce this. The first track here, because if you can push a lot of if you can get the white one out, the white marker out, and you can push it quite far down the road, and you have the multipliers times 2, you can score quite a lot of points per round. This is kind of like the geometric progression scoring, because the points you may not get a lot of points in the beginning, but later on you may be even getting 100 points per round. The second track seems to be where you can get all the special discs much more faster than the rest, which will give you bonuses that the other players do not have immediately. It does have some scoring, but I'm not too sure how much scoring it can get. This is one strategy that I have not yet tried. The third way is by getting these bonuses quite early on, because they'll give you per round scoring. So this is a arithmetic progression. This will give you early points, quite a lot of points right at the beginning, but nearing the end of the game, it will not give you too much benefits. Lastly is the factory track. So the factory track, if you can manage to push your purple marker here, you get 30 points per round. In addition, you get to activate all the factories that's here. So there are many ways to victory, but right now it would seem that if you're the first player, or if someone is aiming for the engineer, right, you don't block it, that person can get away with a lot of points, because you get 40 points at the end of the game. You get to potentially get the number 1 train, which a lot of people will throw away because it does not help them on their player board. So you will definitely be able to score quite a lot of points from this factory if you have a lot of engineers with you. And so this is the game review of Russian Railroads. So what do you think of the game? Now, if you have watched a video and you know me by now, you know that I love Euro style games, and this is right up my alley. Initially, we did not think much about it because we were tricked by the red train on the box, and we thought it was a train game. But when we realized it's a worker placement game, and it's a medium and heavy Euro at that, we had to get a copy, and we had a blast playing it. All the people that in my gaming group that I've played so far, they have not a bad thing to say about it. We were concerned whether there was only 1 or 2 ways to victory, because when we first played it, one of my friends went by engineer track and scored a hell lot of points. Right? But later on we found out that there are potentially many paths to victory in the game. So we have been trying the different ways to score points, and so far we do see that potential, that there is a possibility that there are many different tracks to victory. It is unfortunate that the few standard steps that you should go, if you did not go, would be to get the engineer, or get the coins, or get the workers, because, well, I mean, it makes more sense right now. But there are cases where you could forgo this and concentrate on one thing. In the game, there seems to be a lot of options for you to do. Oh, there's so many things you want to do. I want to do this, I want to do that. But you have to be aware that you have to focus on one thing. Like most games, you have to focus on one thing, do good at it, and then you probably win the game. If you find someone is scoring 100 points or so per round, it is very likely that the person will win. So each of the players need to make sure that they guard each other, or else certain players can run away with it. The components is nice, the design is nice, even the art is very nice to look at. It doesn't look boring. It has a very nice Russian feel to it, which I do like such style of art. And yeah, it's all good things right now that I can say about the game. So if this type of game interests you, do get yourself a copy. Mine is a German copy, but not to worry. None of the components is language dependent, so you can actually print out the English rules and still be able to play the game. No worries at all. So if you, like me, like Euro style, it's a worker placement game, medium to heavy, do get a copy of Russian Railroads. This is my potential game of the year contender. Alright, so thank you for watching the video. Do leave me comments, do leave me feedback, and thank you.